Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday. Oh, man. Today is Monday. Today's definitely Monday, August 14th, 2023. And I continue to have no idea kind of what day or really what time it is. I just got back from Colorado. Well, I didn't just get back, but I got back very late Friday night. From Colorado, kind of a quick trip, a whirlwind of a trip, but I'm back here now at home, and I'll be home for about a week and a half, 9 days. No, I guess 11 days total before I have to head out for my next trip. But this will be a nice full week of live streams, and we'll have kind of like a full regular schedule this week. So I'm really excited about that. Before we get too much further into it, I do want to say hi to everyone listening on the podcast on the audio only version. Sorry to you guys, because I know you guys are getting kind of the short shrift here because I'm not posting more things to the audio only version. But I thank you guys for your patience. And I'm glad for you guys to be here. And for those of you who are watching this later, but not live on YouTube, welcome to the number one running podcast to listen to when you're on the treadmill because the weather is nasty outside. And here in Chicago, the weather is not too bad. It's actually kind of nice, but it's raining. A little bit too hard for me to kind of just go out there for an easy run. I don't have like a workout schedule or anything. So, I think I might just, I haven't run yet. And I think I might just run on the treadmill after a live stream for today. That's what I'm planning. And I probably won't watch this live stream because I'll have gone through it myself. But maybe you're going through a similar situation and you're watching this like that on the treadmill. So welcome to you guys. All right. Eric's here in the chat. He says, oh, yeah, 5 days until Leadville 100, Cofusians. Hope everyone is doing well. What's going on, Eric? What's funny is so I was in Boulder last Thursday, like Wednesday night into Thursday. And I guess technically very, very early Friday morning. But Boulder was weird because the Leadville mountain bike race was this week, right? I think, or last weekend. And so there was a lot of people in town. I feel like kids are starting to get back are starting to get there for school and stuff. And I think there's a lot of families doing last minute or last trip of the summer kind of things going on. But there was a lot fewer bikes around than what I normally see, which maybe that was just a coincidence or whatever. But I didn't realize that Leadville, the bike race was the week before the running one. So that was interesting. Louis says, yo, what's going on? Started the 16-week training block for CIM. Ooh, 16 weeks. Nice. It's a little bit on the long side for me, but I think I know. I think you guys are doing it a little bit differently than I am, or I'm doing it differently than you guys. So 16 weeks makes sense, but man, it's weird to think that first week of December is already 16 weeks away. Whew. All right. Richard Wilson said I did 26K on Sunday, 13 at 4:15 per kilometer pace for a CIM. Wow. I may have a sub 3 in me yet. Go hard or blow up, well. That's a good place to do it at CIM. Ooh, 13K. So that's what? 7 miles? 7 miles at 4:15. That's pretty good. That's really nice. But we are 16 weeks away, Richard. So that's kind of I guess the only thing that I would say. Are you doing too much too soon? I don't know. Or you're going to be going for something way stronger than a sub 3 maybe. I don't know. Sounds good though. All right. Raisin coming in quick with the running shoe question of the day. Raisin wanted advice on a second shoe, a daily commute / lunch run shoe, Brooks Ghost Max, Asics Saucony, New Balance Super Comp version 2, Hoka, Adidas SL, Nike Infinity RM4, matching my Super Blast. I have almost 400 kilometers in. Okay. So, I would say if you're looking for something similar to the Super Blast, a lot of times you're just naming brands here, so that kind of leaves it super wide open. And the other shoes that you specifically mentioned, most of them I haven't tried. Saucony, the SC, the New Balance SC Trainer version 2. I think mine got delivered today. I already went to my post office box. They didn't have it at the moment, so I think I probably just missed it. Infinity Run 4, I'm not going to review. Brooks Ghost Max looks interesting. I'm probably not going to review it, so I don't know really about those shoes. But I will say something that you might want to try is the shoe that video came out today, Puma Deviate 2. That shoe, I really like that shoe. It has a little bit taller of the stack height side, uses some Nitro Elite foam, Nitro foam, and then a carbon composite plate. I feel like if you're using it for commuting, daily training, I think it's going to really work out for you. And that might be a really fun one, especially since some of the colors, there's 2 colors now, it seems, that are on sale. So you can get it for like $112. So that's probably number 1 that I would look at. But I also feel like people that are loving the Super Blast, you're probably also going to, depending on how you're using it, you may or may not also like the Invincible. So that could be another one to look at. And so those are 2. All right. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further. Oh, okay. Eric said, glad you did the Manitou Incline, Kofuzi. Fun, huh? So the last thing I did before I left Colorado on this trip, and I'm not sure what kind of video I'm going to make for it, but I'll make some. I did film a bunch of stuff from when I was in Colorado, aside from kind of like the athlete interviews that I did. And so I'm leaving Colorado Springs, and my original plan was to stay there Friday night and leave early Saturday morning out of Colorado Springs. But instead what happened, because I was supposed to go with Elkanah Kabet, film his morning run, join him on his evening run, and then fly out the next morning. Instead, what he wanted to do was just have me join him on his morning easy run, which was very optimistic of him that I could join him for a morning run. And then we went out to breakfast, and I interviewed him more at breakfast. But he's a military guy, so he wanted to meet at 6:30 in the morning, which I think is late for him, actually. So I was done with the run. He did 12.5 miles. I did 6. And we're done with breakfast at like 10:30. And so like, even though I'd already even switched my flight from Saturday to Friday, I was now flying out of Denver, but even then I was flying in the evening. So I had like 3.5 hours maybe. So I was just thinking, oh, maybe I'll go walk around Garden of the I got to do something while I'm in Colorado Springs. I can't just go to Colorado Springs, film something, and then leave without doing anything else that Colorado Springs has to offer. So I'm just like Googling stuff. And then I remember, I think Ultra Trail Steven lives in Colorado Springs, but I also thought that Ultra Trail Steven was on vacation, so he wasn't in town. But I remember that he did the stairs. So like I was like Colorado Springs and stairs. And so then Manitou Incline came up, and I had like a little bit of water and some drip drop hydration in my bag. So I took that, I brought my cameras, and I decided I'd go for a hike. And what this thing is, it's just one long stairwell. Stairs that are like cut into the side of the mountain. And it's just straight up. No switchbacks, no turns, just up. And it's like 2,700 something steps, and it's about 2,000 feet of incline, just straight up. And then there's another trail that you could do to wind back down, but then you just come back down. So I didn't know that if I would have enough time to do it. So I'm like Googling it on the way, driving to this place. And I'm like asking Siri, like, how long does it take to do the Manitou Incline? And they're like, and Siri's like, it takes the average person about 3 hours and 15 minutes. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I have enough time. So I ended up doing it. I went for it. And I was so miserable. It took me about an hour to go up, and it was a 1 hour stair climbing activity. By the top, I felt like my quads were literally going to give out. You know, like I just pushed them to muscle failure. I did take many breaks on the way up, but it was super hard, super hard. Yeah, it was very rigorous. I passed most of the children that I saw on the stairs. Not all of them. Some of them still got ahead of me, but most of the children that were there, I was able to beat. So I feel like maybe I'm finally adapting to altitude after all this time. You know? Yeah. JC says that sounds like a quad killer. It was. My quad still hurt. And I did that on Friday, and it's Monday now? I was going to try and do a session today, but now I woke up and I was like, legs still kind of hurt. So I'm just going to do another easy run today. And Mark says, I wondered why the route on Strava was such a straight line. Yeah. Well, the actual route on Strava is more like a check mark because I missed the very clear start of the Manitou incline. And instead I started walking this other way, following some other tourists in the area. Because there's like a train that you can ride in the area. So I started running over towards the train. And then I started running up this trail because I saw another guy in front of me with a pack on. So I followed him even past a gate that said no passing, but it was kind of bent and it looked like it was homemade and not a real one, you know? So I was like, no trespassing. The language on the sign was, thou shalt not pass, you know? So I thought it was a joke. So I kept going and all of a sudden I'm like, you know, there's a lot of tourists here. I haven't seen another person in a long time. I don't think I'm going the right way. So then I turned around. So like I'd already, you know, hiked up like 300 feet of incline, about half a mile, quarter mile maybe. So then I went back down. So if you look at the Strava activity, it's actually up a little bit, back down, and then up a lot because I messed it up. I got lost before I even started. Frank says, I've done the incline like 6 times, but that was back when there was a train you could ride. That's really funny. All right. Go Running with Oliver says, anything planned for the Chicago Marathon? Interviews? Cozy Shakeout Run? I don't have any interviews set up yet. And I'd love to be able to do some, but I have a feeling that if I do, it won't be pros. Maybe I'll see if any other like influencers are coming in town or any of my friends are coming in. Maybe I'll interview them. I would like to be able to do some sort of like evening non-running related get together. I don't know if we'll be able to pull that off for Chicago. CIM might be a better location for that. I've been some very early talks with some people about maybe doing something, and that might be something I would suggest. But so far what we have planned, I don't have details yet, but we're trying to do something very similar to what we did last year, which was a pizza shakeout. We'll meet downtown at the Bean and then run along the lakefront, along the water, directly to a pizza place where we'll have pizza afterwards. Couple of things. I've already talked to ASICS about it. They're on board. They're the ones that put it on for us last year, and they're on board for it this year. Here's the one thing. Starting tomorrow, the Bean is going to be under construction, or at least the plaza where the Bean is going to be under construction. So we might have to tweak the meeting place just a little bit, but that shouldn't be too hard. Maybe we'll meet at the Art Institute. So just meet on the steps by the museum. That'll be kind of a hectic place to meet, but or maybe we can meet by the fountains, or you know, we'll figure something else out. But keep Saturday open. All right, let me keep scrolling down. Robert Krieger says, congrats on the Manitou Incline. Glad you had the chance to try it out. Yeah, it makes me feel lazy for not getting around to it yet. I was just thinking like, you know, if it wasn't for like people saying like the fear of coming home and people being like, I can't believe you went all the way down there and didn't do XYZ. That kind of motivated me a little bit extra to work harder to make sure I got it in. Because I was also really tired from all the travel. Just got back from a week of vacation and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. Had I really fully understood just how rigorous it was going to be, I might not have done it. So it was blissful ignorance and fear of missing out that had me do it. And I am glad I did it, because now I don't know if I'll ever want to do it again. It was just so hard. Philip says, what would Kofuzi do if you were partially injured, hurt before a marathon? Would you go or pass? I think it depends on what kind of hurt it is. You know, if it were, and what kind of race it is. So like next year, my goals are to hopefully run London and Berlin. 2 races that I've been trying to get into for a long time that I don't know that I will be able to get into, but I really would like to be able to do them. And I want to finish my 6 stars next year in 2024, which if I can do both, I will, because I have 4 so far. If it was a situation where it's like, I'm kind of hurt, but I really want to run these races, I might do it depending on what the injury is. You know what I mean? It would definitely change my expectations. And it might be let's just finish and get the medal and enjoy the race the best we can and don't worry about time. But if it was like, I've run Chicago many times. If it was like for Chicago Marathon or if it was for like CIM, I might, where it's like, those are places that I go to run fast times. Then in that situation, I'm not sure that I would run it in that situation. So I think it kind of is situationally dependent. Right. Alf Dickinson says lots of English YouTubers going to Chicago this year. I think Chicago is going to be great. And if there are a lot of people from abroad who I normally don't get to speak to, but interact with online, that's definitely something that I'd be very interested in trying to do. Videos wants to know if there's a Manitou Incline video incoming. Yeah, there is. I don't know if it'll just be a reel or if it'll be a full video or both. It might be both. Maybe. Well, definitely something. How like elaborate it is, I'm not sure. The thing about the incline is that it's just a set of stairs. So like the views don't change all that much. You know what I mean? So it's not like going on like a hour long. It ended up being about 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours, 15 minutes total with the rests, and everything on the way up and down. But it's not like a normal 2 hour and 15-minute trail run video where I'd have lots of footage from all sorts of kind of, scenes. It's just either up the steps or down the steps. So like, I don't know like how like compelling the footage will be, but I'll see I haven't really looked through it yet, but we'll see what there is. But yeah, there'll be some. It's a lot of me huffing and puffing. Frank says though, I would think that the Garden of the Gods trails would be where people would say, I can't believe it didn't run there. I'm hoping to go back to Colorado Springs. It's really, really nice there. And hopefully next time. So we'll see. We'll see. Like the thing with the Garden of the Gods trails, like the pictures that I saw looked absolutely amazing. But I was like, oh, I'm going to get lost out there. And I got a plane I got to catch. Plus the airport that I need to go to is an hour and a half drive away. So I was like, at least with the set of stairs, in theory, I shouldn't be able to get lost. I would just go up and down. I did get lost, but it ended up being okay. But I didn't get lost once I found the trail, the start of it, So I think that was kind of what I was thinking. Adam wants to know if I know what the incline record is. I don't know. I saw one guy that he started, I saw him running up to the parking lot when I was parking my car. And then I did take a little detour. And then I found my right way and started going up the stairs. And so that whole total time was maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes or so. And he had already run up and come down. So like, I don't know. I would, it's about, what was it? Like a mile and change up, mile and a half up. I don't know. I feel like the incline is something ridiculous. Like 30 minutes maybe. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. Go running with Oliver says, how does it feel to be besties with Lindsay Flanagan? Running with Lindsay was great. I feel like I mean, for me on my side, I felt like there was like a lot of instant rapport. I've already interviewed her a couple of times. I interviewed her on a panel before New York City Marathon last year, and then she was on the live stream a month ago with Sam Long when I was in Boulder the last time. So we have some rapport. Plus, like, she's from Schaumburg. She's from the Chicago suburbs. So, like, there's a lot of just, I feel like I know a lot of people like Lindsay. And so there's like a familiarity to that. That's, I find, like, that's really nice. I wouldn't say, I don't think she would call us besties. But it's nice to have a rapport with athletes, so that's nice. It was good to be able to spend some time with her. Let's see. Terry Furlong says, "Oh, London. If I get a bib, will I do a shakeout?" Yes, yes, definitely. If we can do a bib, if I can get a bib for London, there will definitely be a shakeout. Especially because I feel like in London, like the big group shakeouts has become more of a thing. I don't want to be too egocentric about it, but I feel like it's a very American thing to have these like giant group runs before a race. I don't really feel like other countries do that all that much, but they're starting to see us do it here, and they're like, "Oh, that's a cool idea." And I think England is particularly hard to kind of like introduce that kind of thing because of like this really strong club structure that you guys have. But from talking with people at Tracksmith, for example, that's where they put their latest retail store, and from talking from other Brits, it's starting to become more of a thing, and so that makes it easier for me to be able to kind of like pitch to a brand, "Hey, let's do this. Can you get me over there, and we'll do a shakeout run while we're over there," kind of thing, you know. So yeah. If I get a bib, I'll definitely do a shakeout with or without brand support. We'll figure out something so we can hang out. C-Town fan says, Mike, did you have to make a reservation to do the incline? I was really freaked out because I just drove there and I was like Googling it and there was like all these things were saying like you have to get a reservation. But I got to the parking lot and I was like, there was a dude in the parking lot. You have to have cash for the parking lot, by the way. $15. But I was like, "Hey, I don't have a reservation. Is that going to be a problem?" He's like, "Well, I'm glad you didn't let not having a reservation stop you. You don't really need to do that anymore." So I don't know if that was like a COVID era thing or what. But I did not have one, and I did not need to have one. It was weird because like there's this thing that's like, you know, make sure you check in with your reservation. There's like signage for it still that's up. And as I'm walking up the thing, I'm just like, there isn't even like a gate. There's like a pathway and a walkway that you go, and then you walk by this little shop at the bottom that has food and lots of hydration stuff and also souvenirs. But you walk past that, and then you kind of just start going. And I was like, I don't even know where I would check in. There wasn't even anyone I could ask if it was okay to go up without a reservation. But then on the way down, I noticed that there was this extra with apparent like a shipping container that had like a hole cut, like a door cut out of it, and someone was there with like a table and like checking people in. So I didn't really know what was going on with that. I just went up. Maybe that was wrong, but I don't know. Eric says, yes, you typically do have to make a reservation, but some people don't bother and get to do it if it's a slow day out there. It must have been a slow day. I mean, it was like Friday at like 11 o'clock, 11:30 when I was there. So me, I don't know. If I were to do it again, I would look into getting the reservation, but I was able to do it without one. I think that they probably would have done, and it just made me wait like a little bit until there was like more of a gap. But I didn't get the sense that like I didn't get the sense that the parking lot attendant was sarcastic, you know? So, all right. Aaron Townley, he's got a PR for us. He says, big PR this weekend at the Goodyear Akron Half Marathon, 1:15:12. Nice work, Aaron. That's amazing. He's getting excited for Chicago this fall. Ooh. I think, I think a lot of people are expecting or hoping for Chicago to have some good weather, because I think a lot of people want to try and run fast in Chicago this year. Alf Dickinson saying that he thinks that Ben Parks is in for Chicago. Nice. And lots of 40 runs crew too. Yeah, that'll be cool. I haven't seen Ben since last year. That was the first time I met him and Sarah over in Brooklyn for the half marathon. So that was cool. We were able to hang out and spend some time together. And then I'm hoping, because he's running UTMB this year, I'm hoping that I'll be able to find him at some point over the weekend while I'm over there, because I'll be there as well. Not running, but just watching. But yes, hopefully I'll get a chance to bump into him there. I should send him a message, let him know that I'll be around to keep an eye out for me. And then if he's coming for Chicago, that'll be super cool. And I'm assuming that I'll be able to meet 40 when he comes over to New York. Finally, he's coming to the U.S. I keep ending up people. what's funny is people keep like shoving a phone in my face at races now, and it's always someone that's FaceTiming 40. And so it's just become this random thing where I end up FaceTiming 40 before like every big race in the US. And every time I'm like, how come you're not here? Your friends are here. You should be here. We're all here. So it'll be nice to finally see him in person. Eric says, like, you know what? We better get a run in at Garden of the Gods. Next time you're in town, we can get Ultra Trail Steven too. Yeah, and Eric promises that I won't get lost with him. I'm down. Next time, because I feel like I did not realize that Colorado Springs was quite so close. So, like, you could definitely, like, go out for the day. You know, if, let's say I'm, like, doing stuff in the Denver Boulder area, you know, so it's not that terrible. So, like, relatively easy to make the trip over. Not something that I would do like every weekend, like if I lived in the area, but if I'm visiting, maybe I think a lot of times I'm in a very much of a hurry to get back home when I travel, for I think reasonable reasons, but sometimes I think I need to extend trips a little bit. All right. Video says, the Manitou Incline ascent record is 17:25 by Remy Bonnet, world-class Golden Trail Series guy. He took it from Joe Gray recently. 17:25. That's crazy. I asked the dude that I saw that had gone up and down as he was coming down. I was like, dude, did you just run this in like 30 minutes? And he had earbuds in. I know he didn't hear me. But I think it was one of those things where you take your earbuds out, but then by then you've already heard what the person said, like your brain has registered it. And so he was just like, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So I do think he did it in about 30 minutes. Seatown Van said Joe Gray's time was 17:45. That's just insane. Insane. You've got to just be like lungs and legs and nothing else to do that. Louis says that Killian tried to break the record a long time ago and was still short. Don't remember who has the record for the Manitou Incline. Oh, man. And women's record is Allie McLaughlin, 20 minutes and 7 seconds. It took me about 54 minutes to do it. And I didn't know if I was going to make it. When I got about halfway, I was like, I don't know about today. Today might not be the day. Eric says, on a good day when I was 37 to 38, I could do about 27 minutes up the incline. No longer. Oh, man. You guys are, wow, super strong. Super strong. All right. Let's get to the box. Oh, Eliza said it. There we go. Box. Luis Becerra says box. All right, here we go. This is the box. It's gigantic, but I forget what I put in the comments. It's not what you think it is, and it's going to be. I think it's going to end up being underwhelming, but for the only reason that the box is so big. This is a giant box from Adidas. This is all stuff that I bought myself, but it's a very light box. And the UPS guy goes, you know what? There better not be just one box of shoes in there. And I'm like, oh, no. Because I wasn't sure. I also ordered a big duffel bag recently, so I thought maybe this was it. But then I looked at the Adidas label on the box, and then I was like, oh no, I think this is just one box. So let's see what's in here. Look at this giant box and just one box of shoes inside. And what we got is the Boston 12. I know you guys are hoping that it was Primex 2. I don't know if I'm getting a pair of those right away. But they're not for sale. So I told you guys that I bought this pair. And the Boston 12 was a shoe that I wasn't going to buy or test because I just didn't. 10 was a good shoe, but it wasn't a Boston. And 11 was basically a 10. So I was like, fool me once. and then twice, and then this is the third time, Boston 12. But so many of you guys have been asking, especially when I review shoes like the DV8 Nitro 2, which I've been loving, how it stacks up against the Boston 12. And they're like, I think you're going to really like it. It's very similar. And I'm like, are you sure? I don't know. But so many of you have asked for it that I decided I would pick up a pair. This is the Boston 12. Now, just holding it so far, I feel like it's heavier than it looks. And this foam in the back here feels pretty dense. So I'm not sure. But the Light Strike Pro feels really nice. So hopefully I really want to like it. And the irony is not lost on me that it does say end plastic waste on the inside here. You know, which has been nice. I appreciate the initiatives that Adidas is going through. But I'm never going to be able to forget the size of the box that they shipped this shoe to me in, which is completely random. Now, I guess I understand kind of like the way they do shipping logistics is sometimes they'll put something in a much bigger box than necessary because then it helps stabilize the rest of the shipping container generally or whatever the rationale is, something like that. And overall, it's more energy efficient. It just doesn't feel that way. But here we go. Boston 12. What do you guys think? Should I test? I have 2 brand new shoes in for testing right now. Which one should I go after first? Do you want me to run in the Boston 12 first? Or do you want me to test the Hoka Cielo Road first? Which one of those? Stevie 76 wants to know if it's breathable. It's very breathable. I mean, this like mesh material that Adidas has been using has been really great. Even on the sides of it here, pretty breathable. Very breathable on the tongue. I mean, on the toe box. You know, nice thin tongue. I think I'm gonna like it. Pat Rosen says you're gonna love that shoe. Eric says I abstain. See, there you go. I don't know. We'll have to see. Gorby's Lifestyle says, I just ordered a pair of Boston 12s today. You know, I really want to like this. I really do. I'm rooting for it. But Tails de Mileto says, have you considered opening a Patreon or something like that for us to donate and buy shoes that you don't feel like spending the money on? I've thought about that, but it's not really necessary. It's not like if they don't send it to me, I can't afford to review it or whatever. I mean, I just bought a pair. I bought this shoe, and I also bought a pair of SC Trainers version 2. Because remember last week, I opened another box that New Balance had sent me, thinking it was the SC Trainer 2 finally. And it was not. It's another shoe that's under embargo for like another 2 months. And I followed up with them. I'm like, hey, I found the one shoe, but still waiting on that SC Trainer version 2. And they're like, oh, we thought it was in the shipment we just sent you, which is what they said the first time that happened with the other shoe that they sent me, which is still under embargo for another couple of months. So I was like, never mind, I'll just buy it. And so that's not the problem. But like what I do like about the concept is it's letting you guys kind of like drive what are the reviews that are more important to you guys. And it can help me identify things that I maybe have blind spots for, like a Boston 12, for example. So maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure how we would do it. The one reason I kind of like the idea is because then I could sometimes I get snarky comments on the internet, believe it or not. And people are like, oh, well, you're not reviewing this shoe because like sometimes there'll be a question like, hey, how does this shoe compare to like, for example, a Boston 12? Or how does it compare to like the Vaporfly 3 or the Infinity Run 4? And I'll be like, I don't have plans to review that one. And then people are like, oh, well, it's because you don't like Adidas or because you don't like Nike or whatever. And I'm just like, it'd be really nice to be able to like, here's the link. Or maybe I'll just start giving out my Venmo. Be like, here's the Venmo. You can donate to the shoe fund. So I don't know. I don't know that that's a really nice response to the snarky comment. I don't really think that snarky comment merits a response, but I don't know. I've tried to think about that. Shannon says, I love it when Co snarks back. Here's the thing. It's something that I'm really trying to stop doing. I don't feel like it feels good in the moment, but I just don't think that it is appropriate for me to be doing. So I'm trying to do it less. I'm always trying to find other ways to kind of have a different default response to a comment that I think is maybe made in bad faith or ill-spirited. You know what I mean? And the main reason for that is, one, I think it just doesn't look good. It's just the dynamics aren't good. I don't like it. And then the other thing is, I think that like sometimes I may be inferring or reading in sarcasm that may not be in the actual post. And so I don't want to like I don't want people to see that and be like, ooh, this guy gets pissed off sometimes, So I just want it to be a place where people feel comfortable asking their questions. You know what I mean? So, Sega Dreamcast says, as my mom says, I try to remind myself to follow, kill them with kindness. I feel like it's a good one. Raisin says, activate the Snarkoozy. And CV76 says, I should become the snarky runner. Yeah, I don't know. Eric says, we should have an official Kavuzi Snark Week here. I mean, we can have rants and gripes, I think that's fun. But like, I just think in the comments, because it is so easy, especially given the fact that a lot of people may not be native English speakers, I may be like all of a sudden mean to someone who was just like, dude, I was just trying to ask a question, man. And I don't want to do that. So, Serious Runner says, better stay off Let's Run if you don't want snark. Yes. Yeah. I don't go to Let's Run. I was looking at a Let's Run article, though I can't say that I've never gone or that I never go. I did read a Let's Run article from like 2015, just a couple of days ago, as I was getting ready to interview Elkanah Kabet. So every once in a while, I mean, I wish that there was a better way of distilling like some of the reporting that they do with the rest of the website, which I feel like there's a very easy way to do that. But, I don't know. They're going to do their business the way they do their business. Sleeve Singer says, when you're testing a shoe and you are, say, 6 miles out in a shoe you don't like, do you run back in them or carry another pair to switch in that you do like? Guessing your long runs are in your faves. Yeah, I feel like I just let it go. I go for it. There's not a lot. I mean, I think that if there were a reason to be wary, I would like not take it for a long run. I mean, some shoes are not long run shoes. So like those I won't plan for a long run, but like, for example, this Boston 12, which I kind of think that I'm not going to like, but I'm trying to put that aside and be very open-minded because a lot of you guys have said that you guys are enjoying it and have been recommending and asking about it. But like, I'll probably take this out for a couple of different runs. The first one will be like a workout, maybe a fartlek, and then maybe I'll do a longer easy run in it just to see how it works that way. Cause I know some people like to use the Boston as an easy run shoe. But yeah, I don't bring like a parachute, I don't bring a safety net. So if it's just going to hurt my feet for a while, it's going to hurt my feet for a while. And I guess if it's really, really bad and I need to call my wife to come pick me up from somewhere, then I would do that. But I haven't had that happen before. So, I just think in 2023, there's not a lot of like absolutely terrible shoes that are being made. So like, usually I can make it through a daily training run. I'm not too worried about that. There are some shoes though that I might like intentionally put to a more difficult out of the box test because I have really high expectations for it. So like the Endorphin Elite, for example, I did a 22-mile run out of the box in it. And it worked out great. It did make the top of one of my toes bleed, and that created a bit of a stir on the internet. But there was a lot of snarky responses from me on that one. But, for the most part, like I kind of have an idea of if a shoe's going to be a problem for me or not. Like for example, like I wouldn't take a stability shoe for a 15-mile run. I like out of the box. You know what I mean? So there's some kind of, I guess like safety measures that are put in there, but for the most part, I'm going to try it how it's supposed to be used. And if it gives me a real problem, like a showstopper problem, like early on, that's a big red flag that I feel like I need to tell you guys about, All right, Mark Ellis with another running shoe question. He says, I wanted to pick up a pair of Noblast 3. Any idea if and when they are going to announce a 4? Willing to wait for a sale, but can't find any definitive answers online if a new one is coming. I have information. I'm not sure I'm allowed to share it with you guys yet. So I can't tell you guys about that. But I do know that like for ASICs in the US, they seem to be very reluctant to put shoes on sale. The Super Blast was an exception because that one came in a bit hot at, what was it, 220 when it started. And so I still think that shoe needs to be about 180, but I think it's at 200 right now. So they've made adjustments before. But yeah, I've had the Noblast 3 since last May, 2 Mays ago, but I don't think it came out till June or July. So it's been a year, but I can't really say more than that. It's a good shoe. I just bought my daughter a pair. It should arrive tomorrow. So and I paid full price for that one. Yeah, I got it off of Roadrunner Sports. I'm like, I do their VIP program. And so like that brings the cost down a little bit. And I had some like rewards bucks or whatever they call them. So that brought the price down a little bit. But yeah, I still think that a full price Noblast 3 is worth it. I don't know if it's going to go on sale. I do have information about the 4, but I don't know even when the 4 comes out. I don't know about sales and stuff like that. No one ever tells me that. Usually you guys tell me about sales. You guys will usually let me know or message me or something, or say something in a comment. All right, Pat Rosen says, the Boston 12 really is the most improved shoe of the year. Having fun in the 10, the 12 is 1,000 times better, lighter, more breathable, and cushy. Okay, well, those are all good words. I would love it if the Boston 12 felt very similar to me as a Puma Deviate Nitro 2, because I really love that shoe. Where did I put it? I think it's on the done wall. Oh, yeah, it's over there. It's on the done wall now. This is the not done yet. That's the done yet. But it's this one right there on the corner. All right, let me scroll down a little bit more. Matcha says, "Co, you going to copy MKBHD and tech reviewers and do yearly shoe awards?" I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, and I kind of do this because I do a top 5 at the end of every year, a top 5 overall, top 5 max cushion, top 5 daily, top 5 carbon plated shoes. But what I would really like to do, and you know who does this already? Tennis Certo. It's a Brazilian channel. It's in Portuguese. But they do, they have one of the most beautiful YouTube live stream sets or like podcasting sets I've ever seen. So if you follow them on Instagram, you've seen the clips. I don't understand a word of it, but I can usually get the gist of what they're saying because they like kind of caption things out, and every once in a while I can kind of recognize or figure out what a word means, and they'll have pictures of shoes and stuff. But they did one where they did like everyone got dressed up in like evening formal wear, and they did awards. So that I thought was pretty cool. And that's an idea that I've wanted to do for a long time. But I now have like a different idea, something that's a little bit bigger that I'd like to try to execute. It's going to take a little bit of buy-in, both from a lot of people. But I think maybe if I start talking about it now, let me run this. I was going to do it. If I did it, I was going to try to do it as a surprise to you guys. But what would you guys think? Is this a dumb idea or no? So every year we all get together in Austin for the running event. It's in December. most of the shoes for 2023 are out by then. Every once in a while, shoes might slip in between first week of December, or realistically a little bit before Thanksgiving when we'd have to kind of start putting this stuff together. Or maybe even a month or two, depending on how much prep and logistics you want to put together. But a lot of the shoes are out by time of New York City Marathon. So I was thinking everyone's in town or most people are in town, both from the reviewer side and from the brand side in Austin. So I'm thinking it's already a busy week, but I need to figure out an evening or maybe an afternoon where I don't know, I rent out a back room at a restaurant and we just do something. Or maybe I walk around the show floor giving out little tiny trophies, shoe of the year. And here's one. Or best Max Cushion shoe of the year. And maybe this is the trophy. This is a water cup for those of you watching. Yes. But pretend it's a trophy. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And then I was like, well, if we're going to do it, I don't want it to be Kofuzi picks because I'll have my own videos and stuff. And then Believe in the Run, they're pushing theirs earlier and earlier every year. I feel like last year's they put out in late October. But it should be a reviewer's choice, So I'll have to figure out we'll vote all my friends, We'll get Ben Parks, 40, Emily Heller, Sarah Place, Believe in the Run. Just get everybody, and see what we think. Tommy Runs, just everyone. And vote on our best favorite shoes for people that are shoe reviewers. Is that a good idea or no? It seems like a lot of work. Matcha thinks that it would be cool to have it in a run and gun thing. Just walking around and giving it to people. Yeah, and Adam says, though, but at TRE, you're looking forward to new shoes rather than looking back. I know. The other thing that I've thought about doing is doing a draft. Because TRE I've mentioned it last year. I don't know if I put it in any videos, but I told this to a lot of people at TRE. I love TRE because it's preseason. Especially when you live in a city like Chicago. Every year, this is going to be the year where we win it all. Whether you talk about the Bears or the Cubs or the Sox, whatever, or the Bulls. Or the Blackhawks, whatever. Many years it's not, but there's that optimism at the beginning of the year, and that's how I feel like TRE is. Every shoe looks like it's going to be great, and ultimately there are some that fall a little bit flat. I was thinking we got to figure out a way. How do we do a draft? And everyone picks 5 shoes, and then we figure out who had the best 5 by the end of next year. I don't know. So. Matcha says, "Oh snap! You're gonna make this a whole thing, starting off with the back." I don't know. I think about it, and then people are like, Alf Dickinson says you got to do it in a tux, But I don't want to pack a tux to Texas because that Texas trip is also a CIM trip, so I got to pack I leave Chicago, go to Texas, and then Sacramento. It's a long trip already. I don't want to bring all that stuff. But I guess if I'm going to bring trophies and things. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Daniel Burton wants to know, what hotel did you stay in Colorado Springs? I did not stay in a hotel. So, it was an interesting flight home. Smell-wise. Nah, it wasn't too bad. I joke with my wife. I'm Asian, so we're self-cleaning. We don't smell. But I don't think I was too bad. I kind of wiped down the best I could before I hopped onto the plane. But yeah, I basically left my hotel in Boulder 4:30 in the morning, drove down, met Alcana for a run and then breakfast, drove directly to Manitou Springs, and then drove directly to the Denver airport, pretty much. So that was my day. So I don't know. I feel like I was really eager to change all my plans and get home 12 hours earlier because I felt like it would save a lot of travel expenses, but I'm not actually sure how much travel expenses it saved. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, Video Guy Man 7 says, a couple of colorways of the No Blaster are on sale at Dick's Sporting Goods for $110. that's good to know. Awesome. Love it. Thanks for sharing that. Let's see. Lou says I should FedEx the trophies. Yeah, I mean, I think it would just be nice to be able to go to them and be like, hey, we like what you guys are doing. Keep doing it, you know? And I don't know. I don't know if the brands would be like, what the heck is this? You know, or what? But I don't know. I think it'd be kind of fun. Let's see. Matt just said this should be a relay thing for voting. Oh, that could be a good one. That's interesting, because then you'd have some pros, some trail runners, some road runners, some podcasters. You know, be a lot of different perspectives too. I like that. Shannon also says, isn't that something you could do a relay? Maybe I'll have to do that with them. I don't know. And Calvin, though, brings up the best point about it, is like co-giving an award to a brand, and the brand would just be like, oh, thanks, we're 3 versions ahead already in development. That's true. But I mean, the brands care about like getting that Runner's Choice Award, that, you know, or Editor's Choice Award. What is it called at Runner's World? You know, they care about that kind of stuff. So I feel like they care. But like, I feel like a Runner's World Award, you know, you could use it in marketing materials and promotional materials and sell more shoes that way. Like a Kofuzi Award, or like a Dudes Who Review Shoes on YouTube Award. I don't know if that has the same marketing appeal. So I do think that it's hard, because it's like they are multiple versions ahead. But the awkward thing would be like, hey, I love what you did with the Nova Blast 3. Here's an award for how great it was. And then like 2 hours, I'm like, and don't change a thing. It's perfect. And then 2 hours later, I might be in a meeting with them, and they'd be like, here's all the changes for Nova Blast 4. We've changed everything. And I'd be like, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Oh, Luke Klein was saying I should FedEx all this stuff to TRE and have it waiting for me there. That's a pretty good idea. Matt just said the Shoefluencers Choice Award. Shoefluencer? I like. We always called it Shoetubers. The Shoetuber Choice. Shoetuber Choice. I don't know. Yeah, CV76, the best shoes by the podiatrist category. That is something that brands actively want. We talked about this already, right? How like brands really want that, like, you know, approved by the American Podiatric Society or whatever it might be called, you know, or American Podiatric Academy. Because then they send that to all their members and they all recommend the shoe. And so like, little known fact, and I think I talked about this already, those kinds of awards and endorsements, while they have to be meaningful, in fact, in the sense that like that society or that professional organization has to actually like the shoe, they don't award that for free. Which I think is like, I don't know if people realize that or not, you know, when yeah, I don't know if all products are that way, but I get the sense that they are. So I don't know. All right. Raisin says, I'm sitting here at 4 a.m. and hearing the typhoon storm outside, hoping the internet survives. By the way, if my internet goes out, it's because we got a rainstorm coming on here. I saw a little bit of lightning, but I don't think it's going to be a bad storm. And we're almost done here. So I feel like we made it. Raisin, I feel like we made it the whole hour, you know? Ooh, Brian Clark says, how accurate are you at judging how much you'll like or dislike a shoe before you put it on your feet? I feel like there's actually kind of two questions there. One is the question as written. I feel like I'm pretty accurate. Every once in a while, there's a shoe that really surprises me. And usually those are the ones that I'm most like, that I gush the most about. Like TV8 Nitro 2. I thought it'd be all right, but it ended up being better than I thought. And so like those, whenever there's a gap there, that's when I tend to be the most like vocal about how much I like a shoe. And I'm aware of that. And so that's why a lot of times I try to avoid as much hype about a shoe as possible. A lot of times it's difficult because I watch the same things you guys watch. I listen to the drop. I read running shoe content on the internet. I listen to podcasts. I watch running shoe videos. But if it's a shoe that I think I'm going to review, I won't watch that ahead of time. You know what I mean? So like, that is the time when I'm the most vocal. And it's also the most time when I'm the most vocal when I'm disappointed. If I had very high expectations and then I was wrong, then I'm like, they really screwed this one up. Like that's kind of how I'll feel. But I'd say for the most part, I'm usually pretty spot on. I can kind of tell these days. Because a lot of times I have experience with brands and, like I know what a lot of shoe companies are using the same exact adjectives, kind of like shoe reviewers. We all use the same words. A lot of times we're getting those from the tech people, the product people that we're interfacing with. It just becomes a vernacular, or terms of art. And so, but for example, like when Solomon says a shoe is really soft, or when Kraft says a shoe is really soft, or when Brooks says a shoe is really soft, that doesn't mean the same thing as when other brands say a shoe is really soft. It may mean soft compared to what they normally do, so I have to kind of like translate. And so I have a pretty good sense of if I'm going to like a shoe or not. But I think for me, the more interesting question is that because I've been doing this for a little while now and I'm good at knowing what to expect, or am I letting my preconceived notions dictate how I experience the shoe? And so that's something that I think about all the time, kind of related to the thing I was saying earlier. Like if a shoe surprises me, that's when I'm the most excited about it. And I try not to do that too much because the shoe is still whatever it is, but like I can't like over index on excitement just because I thought it was going to be crappy, but so related to that is like, I try not to like pigeonhole my interpretations of a shoe based on my preconceived notions of the shoe. So that's kind of like where I'm at. Matcha says, is there a Kavuzi cheat sheet in the works? Maybe something you include on a monthly newsletter that gets updated each month with the new reviews you've released that month. Is that something that you guys want? Should I have like a Substack? Do I need to have a newsletter too? Everyone seems to have one right now. I'm not super interested in having a newsletter. Someone did reach out to me. Someone who's actually a journalism person, reached out to me about being an intern and working on a website. It's very tempting, but it just feels like a lot of work that I'm not ready to take on yet. And a newsletter might be a nice middle ground. Maybe I could have that person help me with the newsletter too. Because like one of the things that I've been doing for Relay, which I don't know what's going to really happen to that now, because Relay has shifted to being more explicitly kind of podcast only. I was writing a monthly roundup of clothes, and I've talked to Thomas about it, and I've talked to you guys about it, that I don't love to make video reviews of clothes. And so, but I am running and stuff all the time, and brands are sending me stuff to test. And so I feel like I wish there were a better way to kind of highlight what I'm getting sent, and especially stuff that I'm liking. And so I've been doing like a reviewer's notebook, and that had kind of turned into basically what I've been wearing over the last month. And it was in written form, and that was a lot easier to talk about running apparel. So maybe something like that. I don't know. I feel like you guys, I think about that and then I'm like, do you guys really want a website? Do you guys really want a newsletter? You see me 5 times a week on the live stream, and then 2 times a week on videos, and then 4 or 5 times a week on Reels. So I'm like, are you sure you want more of me? I'm not sure, but I get it. Not everyone sees me in every place. So like, I need to make sure I'm always trying to meet people where they are. So I'm trying to like balance those tensions, Calvin says, a website for you is a no-go. Be better off writing for a separate website like Believe in the Run or Doctors of Running. I've kind of thought about that. I'm not sure. I feel like there's still a lot of, I feel like I'm leaving money on the table is the problem. Is that it's like, I do feel like a lot of brands like to advertise on websites. I think it's weird, but yeah, I don't know. Adam says, do a newsletter when you get an intern. Well, that's what that person that I talked to, that young man I talked to, was kind of talking about. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, Cameron Ty Johnson says, the hype for Prime X2 Strong, Prime X Strong 2 was huge, at least according to what Believe in the Run ran in at TRE and talked about on the drop, but that one ended up being a big flop. I mean, I think it's hard to say that it's a big flop. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet. I did reach out to my contact with Adidas, a PR company, and I was like, because I saw that Thomas had gotten a pair. He didn't break any embargoes, but he like informed the world that he had received his tester pair. And so I was like, I did not receive a tester pair. So I emailed them. I'm like, hey, can I please be put on the list to get these? And they're like, oh yeah, you're already on our list. So hopefully it's coming soon. But since I am going to be getting a pair. When is the embargo? Did the embargo already lift? I don't even know. I have a hard time keeping track of those. But yeah. So, I unless you've heard from like a lot of other people, I would hesitate to call it a flop. I also ran in it in at Austin at TRE. I was very excited. Yeah, there's other stuff that I can't talk about from when I was in Berlin. At the Adidas HQ, not in Berlin, in Nuremberg or Herzogenaurach. Very exciting stuff coming. I see. That's why I'm like, I'm always very curious to see the new stuff, but a lot of times I'm like, just don't show it to me because it's gonna make me frustrated later. So I don't know. Dylan Spencer's here from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Welcome, Dylan. What are you doing in this picture, Dylan? Are you climbing like a mountain and hiding behind a rock? That's a nice photo. I like it. Calvin thinks that the TRE shoe is not the retail shoe, judging from reviews. I think that's very possible. I will say the leaked images looked like the thing that I saw. So the thing that I wore. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to wait. I'm going to reserve judgment till I try it myself. Because Thomas did give me some of his thoughts early. He didn't give me thoughts. He sent me one sentence. And I was like, I think you should give it more time. So, yeah. Oh, Shannon says the embargo's totally over. I can talk about it. I don't know. I'll let me check my notes. I gotta check my notes. I'll tell you guys about it tomorrow. Okay. Because Kevin says I thought it was late August was the release embargo day. So yeah, I don't know. See, I think Shannon's trying to get me in trouble over here. CV76 says Apple will accidentally send Cozy the iPhone 15 for testing. See, yeah, that would be. I don't think that they will. I don't think Apple has acknowledged anything that I've ever done about an Apple product before. And that's okay. They don't. That's not their style, you know. All right. Cosmic Pineapple Michael says the hype for Nova Blast 4 was huge, but that ended up being a big flop too. I don't even know what you're talking about at this point. Like, I have not seen anything about Nova Blast 4. Granted, I've kind of trained my algorithms to not show me leak stuff because I don't look at it, you know, or engage with it. And I don't know what you mean by it being a big flop. And Andrew Scott says that Adidas showed me space boots. Saucony showed me space boots, actual space boots, because they had an astronaut in their booth. Matthew Rand says, any news on an ASICS version 3 Super Shoe? I don't think I can tell you about that. I have some information, but I don't know how, like, I have information from ASICS on it, but it's so early. I don't know how much I can say, or how much it's going to change, or when I receive the information it was early. You guys are really pressing me, trying to make me remember all these different embargo dates and stuff. And Calvin says, believe us, not your lying eyes reading the Adidas email. You guys are just trying to get me in trouble. And Adam says, Shannon never tries to get people in trouble. All right. Matt Silish says, Adidas rep hanging out here. The embargo for the Primex Strong 2 is 9/1/2023. So you guys were about to get me in such big trouble. Oh, that's so funny. And Matt says he's confirming that mine should be on the way. Awesome. Thank you so much. Matthew Ryan wants to know, and we'll end with this one for the day. Oh man, we went long. But that's okay, because I didn't see you guys for like 3 days. 2 extra days last week. Matthew Ryan says, you think other brands will come out with dual plated super shoes in 2024? Seems they increase weight. I'm not sure about that one, because of the fact that dual plated super shoes are definitely illegal. Not that anyone was uncertain that the Primex version 1 was not race legal to begin with. But I think that 2 carbon fiber plates, I just don't see a lot of people going that way. I think I will be able to say more and I think I'll be able to elaborate more on that after 9/1 when the Primex Strong 2 embargo lifts, as to why it may, because there's things that I think are relevant, but I can't talk about them yet. Oh my goodness. This is so annoying. For all of you guys that are listening, this has got to be super annoying, and I apologize for that. But I think that the limiting factor on whether or not to have double carbon in a shoe is not going to be about the weight. It's going to be about whether the foam will actually benefit from having a second plate in it. I think that not all racing foams would be better off by putting a second carbon plate in it. The way that Light Strike Pro is, I think they found a way to make it work with like the energy, and I'm talking about Primex 1, with the energy blades and the carbon fiber plate. There's so much of that Light Strike Pro which moves in a certain kind of way. It squishes and then comes back in a certain kind of way that like having the 2 carbon fiber plates can be useful. But other ones, like, would I want like a second plate in like a Hoka Rocket X2 and call it like the Bondi X2 and put like 2 levels of carbon and Hoka's PIBA in there? I don't think I would want that. The Rocket X2 is heavy as it is. So I think I wouldn't say it's not going to happen. I don't know one way or the other, so this is a complete guess. But I don't see a lot of it. I'm very confident that probably every brand is testing it. Whether we'll actually see one, I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not is what I'm thinking. All right. Suen says there's shoe spies in the chat. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Then that makes for this a safe way for all of us to kind of communicate what's working for all of us and what's not. You know what I mean? It's good. It's good. All right. Finny Fin says, I'm laughing at how diplomatic Co is acting and trying not to get in trouble. I'm really trying today. But I think, you know what? I think I just need to write down on this table, like have a piece of paper taped to the table, what the embargoes are for shoes. But then if you guys saw it, then you'd be able to see like the product names and stuff. So I don't know. I got to figure something. Maybe I'll post it like over here off camera. All right. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to play a very special game of Name That Shoe. You're going to want to come tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got to run it by someone to see if it's okay to do this. So like, if we can get it done, then yeah, this will be good. This will be good. I gotta get an approval first. But once I can get that, it's not about embargoes. But I think we'll probably try to play Name That Shoe tomorrow. It's going to be a super, super hard one. The hardest Name That Shoe ever, I think. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. And then we are going to have a guest for happy hour this week too. So it's going to be a nice full week, a regular week. So I'm really looking forward to it. The Lindsay Flanagan full interview went out today, the video, and then Elkanah's full video is going to go out tomorrow. So lots of fun stuff. So lots of fun stuff to watch. And hopefully I'll see you same time tomorrow right back here on the live stream, 1 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.